Whoa. Good morning, world. My name is Stephen Walker, and welcome to A Walker in the Woods. And I have a decision to make. I can go left, or right, or straight. Now I've already gone straight, I've already gone right. And Henry David Thoreau once wrote, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. We're gonna go left. That being said, this path I have been on, but this path is one of the more traveled paths on the mountain because it leads from the trailhead to the main entrance of the mountain, a lot of restaurants, and it also leads up to the temple. One day I will take you to the temple, but for today I'm going to keep this video shorter than my past videos, I promise. But one thing I'd like to say before I begin the topic is, rather than always taking the same path or eating the same breakfast or looking at the same news channels every morning, you got those go-to routine things down pat. There's a book that I gave my brother many years ago when he was battling brain cancer, and it's called Keep Your Brain Alive. And this book has 83 neurobic exercises to help prevent memory loss and increase mental fitness. It's a very small book. I've actually used it in classes that I've taught to businessmen. Every day, do something different. It's good for the synapses in your brain. Even if you just brush your teeth with your left hand rather than your right. When you get in the car, close your eyes and try to put the key into the ignition or push the button or whatever kind of car you have these days, I don't know. But sit in a different chair if you're a student. Get out of your comfort zone, basically, is what I'm saying. Take on a new challenge. Every day, something small. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to affect your whole daily routine. But the topic today, I was reading, I belong to a fasting club. Not a club, but a Facebook page where people talk about water fasting. Anywhere from 24 hours, intermittent fasting, 3 day, 3 is a magic number, but 7 day, 14, 21, all the way to 30 to 40. Like in the Bible, Jesus, Mahatma Gandhi also did a 40. And yours truly might be doing a 40-day fast, beginning at a time not yet disclosed. But so far so good. Not a lot of people. I passed a number of them this morning coming up here, which is good. Wake up, get your body moving. Some fresh air. The monsoon has not yet fully arrived, but the clouds are laden with the sky is laden with clouds, so it'll probably rain later. But so this website, Facebook page, there was a young man who wrote that, I wrote it down here. He said he was attempting a 30-day fast. That means 30 days, no food. Zero food. Water. Can you do it? We'll talk more about fasting later. I'm a proponent of it. I've done it. I believe in it. Not a 30-day, yo. That's an endeavor. But he said he failed due to peer pressure. 안녕하세요. He failed due to peer pressure. I wrote down, he made it to 21 days, 16 hours, and 37 minutes. 안녕하세요. As I said before, Koreans are very friendly. Maybe they're just not morning people, I don't know. 21 days, 16 hours, and 37 minutes. Almost 22 days of no food. Do you think you could do that? I would wager that you could, if you tried. But the key word I took away from his post was that he failed. Peer pressure, his own internal dialogue, health, I don't know, whatever, but he said he failed. 안녕하세요. Well, that's number three. Number three, no response. I'm gonna stop trying. Maybe they think I'm taking their video and I'm not. Anyways. So I Googled failure. What does failure mean? What's the definition? It's the omission of expected or required action, lack of success. The omission of expected or required action. So you have a goal. You set yourself a goal. And if you don't reach that goal, that's a failure. Well, my question is it a failure or is it an experience? Failure is a negative. It's a very negative word. As a teacher, I know. My students know what failure means. EP. The big fat F. Fail. You do not pass this class. However, you were in my class, some of you. Most of the time that they fail is that they don't show up. And that's a big fat F. If you don't show up, you don't try, then there's nothing to grade you on. There's no improvement. But if you do show up, you sit in the seat, but not only sit in the seat, but actually try and make mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are very good because why? You learn from them. My Korean, I make mistakes all the time. I try to learn from the mistakes, especially if people tell me what they are. If you don't know what your mistakes are, then you'll just continue doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that you're right. But goals that people set for themselves, New Year's resolutions come to mind. Joining that gym on January 1st and to stop going to the gym on January 10th. Fail. Waste of money. But if you got some exercise out of it, if you pay money for something, that's motivation. Marriage. The statistic is many people fail in marriage, end up getting divorced. Is it a failure? Maybe. You might have failed your partner, failed their expectations. As long as you know what the expectations are, that's an important thing. New skills or hobbies. For me, playing guitar. I'm not great. I'm decent. I've never learned how to read music, but neither did Jimi Hendrix. I'm not comparing myself to Jimi Hendrix, by the way, but just saying. Was he a failure? Definitely not. He tried. Jimi Hendrix experience, right? The Jimi Hendrix experience. he tried all kinds of new things, and he was innovative, and he's basically been voted the best guitarist ever. 안녕하세요.
Hi.
I got a hi out of her. Maybe I should start speaking English. Have English classes out in the woods. But the Jimi Hendrix experience, and not the Jimi Hendrix failure. He had many critics, especially back in the day when he was first getting out. One of my favorite guitarists ever. The thing is, I think we often set our goals too high, which makes it almost impossible to succeed. If you start fasting, you don't want to start out on a 30-day fast. You want to do a 12-hour. Well, we'll get into fasting, but everybody fasts. You wake up from what? Sleep, and then you eat what? Breakfast. That's breaking your fast. So you fast at least for 8 hours. Go for 12. Next time 24. Work your way up to 3 days. See how you do. You might hit 30 one day if you need it. A lot of us do need it. I think a lot of us are too damn constipated with all kinds of shit. Just my opinion. But just to look inward, because I'm holding the camera, I'm going to give you a couple of my quote-unquote failures or experiences. After college, I graduated with a journalism degree, mass communications, and I got an internship at a TV station and started working in television news. 안녕하세요. And I worked there for 3 years, and production, I started out in production, camera, studio, learned audio. My dream was to become a photojournalist. Once I got into the news department, I changed my tune, a lot of stress, sitting in a very small booth, editing bay, editing for 8 hours a day. My whole behavior changed, who I was. I was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I had to get out, so I quit. And kind of consider myself a failure. I didn't do what I wanted to do. That was my dream. Didn't complete it. Let's see. This is kind of a dead end. I'm not going to go through there. A lot of spider webs. So speaking of dead ends, that job was a dead end for me. It was a dead end for my soul. I was losing my soul. A lot of people in the news will tell you the same thing. If you see negative news, that's what you lead with. They say if it bleeds, it leads. Car accidents, drownings, world events, usually earthquakes, war, famine. It's fear porn. So that's what gets the viewers. People get addicted to that porn, the fear. What's happening next? Oh my God. And then they go outside and it's just crickets. But so that job turned out to be a dead end. So while I was working that job, watching all of these news feeds come down from national and international satellite feeds, I started to get an itch to travel. So the idea was to join the Peace Corps, and I did. After 1 year, it took me a long time to get in, and I moved to West Africa in 1997 to the Gambia, and I became a natural resource volunteer. A natural resource volunteer, and I lived in a small village called Sololo. It's a Mandinka speaking village, And I worked there, and I lived in a mud hut with no electricity and no running water. I think I'm getting close to my location of Zen. Gonna go off-road. Still doing the barefoot. Actually, after a rain, the earth is very nice and soft. It feels great on the feet, on the tootsies. But so in Peace Corps, now Peace Corps is a 2-year stint. It's a volunteer. You do not have to stay. I knew a volunteer who left. We took the plane ride from Washington, D.C., stopped off in Zurich for a layover, landed in the Gambia, and one volunteer was on the next plane going back to Zurich and back to Washington, D.C. Another dude that was assigned to my village for training, he lasted a week. And spoiler alert, I didn't make it. I failed. Didn't make it the whole 2 years. We can go into that story in a different time and place. And I actually wrote a book about it. And so speaking of books, it's called Latitude Adjustment, which is my email, and it's on Amazon. And that was my next failure. But getting back to Peace Corps real quick, was it a failure or an experience? I would say I failed to make it the full 2 years. I was there about a year and 5 months, I think, including 2 months of training. But I had to leave. It was time. Sometimes you just know when it's time to go. For your mental health, your physical health. But was it a failure? No. I had a lot of fantastic experiences. Number one, I traveled to a place in the world, the Gambia, West Africa. Most people don't even know where it is on the map. But it's on the west coast, surrounded by Senegal, in case you're interested. I lived in a mud hut, no electricity, no running water. That experience was amazing because it taught me that people can live well with very little, with not the basic essential amenities that we are accustomed to in the West. I lost weight. If you are struggling with a diet and you want to lose weight, join the Peace Corps. I met a lot of interesting and amazing people, different volunteers from different countries, as well as the United States, USA. Peace Corps is the USA organization. Then you have volunteer service overseas. Fell in love over there with a British girl for a while. That ended. Was it a failure? No. I got to see England. Spent quality time with a quality woman. Most definitely not a failure. Just another experience. So after Peace Corps, I came back and I wrote a script thinking I'm going to be a movie writer. Never sent it. I finished it, but I never sent it. Was that a failure? No. I learned how to write a script. And then years later, when I came to Korea, I decided to write a book about my experience in Africa. On your sale.
Yeah.
So I wrote a book called Latitude Adjustment, and I have, I think, 2 reviews, both 5-star, by the way. One woman in the Netherlands loves me, so I'm well loved in the Netherlands. That's good to know. But I haven't sold very many of those books. Was that a failure? Is it a failure? No. I learned how to write a book. I took the patience to sit and actually put it down to paper and into the computer. And I learned how to design my own book on Adobe. And yeah. As a teacher, learning how to design your own books is a very important thing, because I've designed 2 more books, 2 textbooks here in South Korea. The first one is called Tell Me About It. It's about travel, researching countries and cultures and talking about it. And I actually sold over 1,000 of those books thus far. I'm on my 2nd printing. I would consider that a success. The 2nd book, called Think About It, I just completed it this last year. I've sold a few, and I have a new class coming up that I'm going to be able to finally teach it. So I would consider that a success. Not getting rich by any stretch of the imagination. Got a nice man-made stream. I can't have concrete be part of my moment of Zen. I'm gonna go a little bit farther and then turn around. I'll show you the entrance to the temple, but we're not gonna go all the way in. This is a teaser. This is called a cliffhanger. I will tease you enough to tune in to the next one in case I do come here, and I will again. But writing books, learning how to, well, number one, what skills do you need? If it's only text, you need to be able to write. That's important. To be able to put words down on paper, that's important. No AI. And take the time to learn the software to create your own book, layout and whatnot. I use Adobe, and it's fantastic. So here's our turnaround point. This is the entrance to the temple. A lot of these temples have that entrance. And we'll get there one day. But as I said, I'm going to keep this one short. 23 minutes. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here shortly. Going downhill is always easier than going up. Generally, unless you fall and start rolling. But you get there faster. Alright, I found my moment of Zen, or my location of Zen, I should say. Stay tuned for that. 1 minute of pleasure. In the news business, we used to call that fluff. At the end of a 30-minute newscast, doom and gloom, and sport, and the weather. Here's Gentle Ben with the weather. Here's Jeff with the sports. And at the end, here is 30 seconds of ducks swimming on a pond, or flowers blowing in the wind. Hey, at least they did something. I don't know if they still do that or not. I bet they don't. So back to failure and experience. I think the only people that actually fail are the ones that don't start or talk their way out of it before starting. If you've started, that's not a fail. At least you're actively doing it. You're actively getting the mind engaged, prepared. And if you start, let's just say you take a pause, recollect, reassess, and then hit play again or record. So speaking of record, which is what I'm doing, that's my new goal, that's not my new experience. Will I fail at this YouTube thing? In the eyes of many, I will say most likely yes. But already I don't consider this to be a failure because, number one, I'm calling it free therapy. It's just a chance to talk about things, and if people actually find it interesting or useful, even one person out there, then it's not a failure. It's being productive. It's actually giving back to the society in which I am part of until I am no longer part of it. So yeah, YouTube, I'm gonna give it a shot. Nothing else, I'm gonna get good exercise because I'm gonna be in the woods most of the time, weather permitting. I'm going to learn how to talk less and say more, which basically means when I teach a presentation class, you can say a lot more with fewer words, just you have to choose the words more selectively. And this is a very pretty scene right here. I'm not sure what kind of flower that is, but it's pretty. Be another location of Zen. Actually, that was pretty zenful until I walked through a spider web with a spider still on it. So I think I'm gonna leave the spider to his location and finish this up. But the experience that I'm experiencing right now with you is bringing me some peace, being productive, and hopefully saying something worth your time. And if you have time, you don't have to give me a like or a subscribe. I'd prefer a comment, actually. Just what do you think is a failure that you may have experienced? I'm gonna say, do you have any experiences that you consider failures? Or if you look at it differently, all of those failures are just simply experiences that you've had, you're learning from, you have learned from, and you won't make the same experience again. Or you may want to experience it again and do something different the next time. So what have you tried? And what did you learn from it? This earth is a school. And I think that we come here possibly with soul contracts to meet certain people and individuals in our lives that will teach us things that our soul needs to experience to make it better. I don't know. That's what I think. We'll talk about that in a different episode. The sun's out a little bit, which is very nice. It's shining through the clouds. So anyways, we come to learn lessons, play the game, but not win the game. The finish line is not a prize here on earth. It's one that we We don't quite yet know what the prize is going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be an amazing prize if you run this race correctly, or even if you don't. We're all going to the same place. So to end this, I wish each and every one of you a lifetime full of wonderful experiences. Good experiences, bad experiences, but experiences nonetheless. And with that, I'm going to bid adieu, say ciao for now, and enjoy your moment of Zen. Peace out.